Good morning and good day, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Clarice Kovacs. I am the Director of Product Marketing here at Moto Insight. And I've got Matt Morrow joining me today. Matt is our Dealer Success Manager, our experienced Dealer Success Manager. He's mainly got accounts in Alberta, but does look after our clients across Canada. So thank you so much for joining our new weekly webinar series. The whole purpose and the goal of this session is to provide you with some quick tips and quick insights on how you can maximize the MotoCommerce platform in different ways, how you can maximize your opportunities by making very small changes and easy implementations with your team. So in today's session, we actually bring in a real use case story to you, a success story where one of our dealers have tried and tested something and it's really worked out for them. So as you can see on the title of my screen, it's Meet Your Out-of-Town Clients. So what does that mean? Like, what do you need to do here? So basically, our customer out west, Surrey Honda, Lower Mainland in Vancouver, they have a very heavy focus and the main priority is customer satisfaction. And they found by utilizing the platform for their out-of-town clients, they were able to improve their customer satisfaction and also make the team's life easier as well. So I just want to give you some quick insights on what they've done, what kind of changes they implemented, and then what Matt is going to do is show you in the back end of the platform to how easily those steps can be created and how those small changes can make a big difference. So basically, what the internet sales team does, that when they receive a lead, whether it's a third party from a marketplace or a client calls up and they inquire about a vehicle, they create a digital shopping cart in our MotoCommerce platform. So what that means, they have the customer information already. They may already have a vehicle that they're very interested in. They may have a couple in their consideration set, and they include that in their digital shopping cart. So what that means that everything is laid out exactly the same way for the consumer and for the dealer as well. And then they send that link and share that link with the customer, and they encourage them to go down the purchase funnel. Basically, they ask them for their trade-in information, if there's a vehicle that they want to trade in. If they have credit application, they ask them to fill out as well if they're looking to finance the vehicle. And what he's doing is saving a bunch of back and forth that they would have had to have done in the past. Also unnecessary trips to the dealership because the client, as I say, could be out of town, or even if it's not convenient for them to travel to the dealership, it just makes it super easy to complete those steps and move down the purchase funnel. And from a team perspective, they felt that it's easy, like it's making their life easier. And Matt and I were talking about this before, right? Because what's one of the objections that we sometimes hear?
Many dealerships often, comment on how many programs they have to interact with on a daily basis. And,
Yeah.
that's something that I can certainly relate to with personal firsthand experience. But we've actually incorporated a ton of integrations into MotoCommerce to make everything as streamlined as possible. So in many cases, all the information is actually going to get automatically sent into, the appraising tools such as vAuto, but also resources like Route One. So kind of creates a little bit of an efficiency there in the dealership.
Right. And it's not even just that, like what we had talked about is like, oh, here's another tool that I have to log into. So I asked that specific question from the team, like, how did you find the implementation of this new step into your process? And they thought it was super easy. Like Nazir, the general manager, told me that like it's making my team lives easier. It's improving customer satisfaction. So it's like a win-win. So they actually said to me that consumers are surprised like how easy this can be done and how many of the process steps they can complete from the comfort of their home, when they're sitting at home on their sofa watching TV even. And again, it's just building on that trust and transparency. We know that consumers are all about transparency that they experience in any other retail factors. And finally, we are able to provide that transparency within our tool as well, and that smooth and seamless process.
And they actually saw an uptick in organic reviews, didn't they, Clarice?
Yeah, that's, I was speaking to the BDC lady and she said to me that they're getting more positive reviews. The 5-star reviews have gone up, and they were directly attributing that to that experience.
And that's pretty incredible. You know, it's one thing kind of giving someone a coupon to get an oil change in return for a review, but getting an organic review, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Right.
Those are more difficult to collect.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that they just recently sold 2 pre-owned vehicles, so used vehicles, to a customer in Winnipeg, and another one in Ottawa. And it's like, okay, it's sold without seeing the vehicle, so that is required. That trust and transparency is super important, and the fact that it gives consumers a peace of mind as well. So one of the process steps that they use it for is collecting those deposits, and versus like asking for the customer's credit card information, you can use our tool to collect that deposit from the customer as well. And then what they've done is have the vehicle delivered. So Matt, what I wanted to do here is like just show our listeners how easily this can be implemented using the MotoCommerce platform. And really, like, all of our sessions going forward is going to focus on that. That's why we kept them 10 and 15 minutes, because we're just showing you just small changes can make a big difference. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And if you don't mind, just pop into the tool and show our listeners how that can be done.
Absolutely. Thank you, Clarice. So I'm just sharing my screen. Can everyone see that?
It will take a minute, I think.
How about now?
Sure. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right. So I have an example account here on the screen, and inside here I am right on my dealer dashboard in the customers tab. To start the process, I'm going to select add customer via showroom. So that's going to send me over to our showroom page. It's going to allow us to select a piece of inventory. The whole process begins with adding in some customer information. So in this example, I'm just going to simply add my first and last name. There we are. And one recent enhancement I want to touch on is this button right down below. So it says send customer to CRM. So depending on the situation at hand, if your customer is an existing client in your client base and you've been working with them and they're already in your CRM, we can actually choose whether or not to push this customer account into our CRM. So, you know, situation depending, it creates a little bit of further efficiency there. So upon adding the customer's information, we now have all the different inventory vehicles available to us. So there's a little bit of a nuance between how new and pre-owned inventory is presented. In the way of new inventory, we actually have some further functionality here. So for example's sake, I'm going to go ahead and select the Volvo XC90. And now we'll notice that there is a little tool called Compare Trims. So this tool is very helpful, especially for those more novice sales staff, to be able to kind of speak intelligently as to why there's a bit of a bump in price between the different trim lines and exactly what that model includes in terms of pieces of content here. So ultimately what we're looking to do is we're going to select a specific trim, and now all the different trim lines or all the different units on ground for this particular configuration are going to present. So we're going to go ahead and make our selection. And ultimately what we want to do is hit save deal for our customer. In this case, it's Matt. So by selecting that button, we've now completed the creation of our shopping cart. Now, when our customer interacts with our shopping cart, they're going to be able to see this. So this is more of the customer-facing side of the program. But here we can see our customer is able to build and price their deal just the way they want it, including adding accessories and protection packages, submit their trade-in, as well as images, a credit application, and even a deposit to secure the vehicle. If they want to continue on further, they can actually go ahead and book an appointment to visit your location in person. So these are all steps that our customers can now complete online, truly acting as an extension of our physical storefronts. All right, so that's kind of finalizes the shopping cart creation there. I'm just going to pop it back over to you there, Clarice.
Thank you. And Matt, there was something else that we had talked about that kind of wanted to bring up, and I know that sometimes it comes up in client conversations, and it's back on the transparency piece. Could you just go into that? You know what we had talked about? Do you mind just bringing that up?
100%. I know that some dealers comment on, the concept of, offering this much detail to a client may potentially cause them to shop. But in reality, we're actually seeing quite the opposite. In fact, if anything, offering this amount of transparency to our clients is a surefire way to create a level of trust that is, frankly unheard of with a lot of experiences that our consumers, work through when interacting with the automotive dealership model. So a lot of our clients are actually commenting on, as you mentioned, Clarice, the improved reviews and customer experience. And I think, this is a huge testament to that. The customer experience is improved, and in the process, we're able to get more detail as to where the customer is at along the journey, which allows us as sales reps and sales managers to be more effective in our role.
Yeah, and I actually, it's something that came up in our conversation with Surrey Honda as well. And they mentioned that, yeah, they have had a customer who've gone through the process steps. They know they have no hidden fees and charges. So the customer have gone and shopped around in other places, but they came back to them for the exact reason that they know that they have the peace of mind, they can trust the dealership, and everything that's laid out in front of them is the information that's going to basically create their whole order and their whole deal as well.
100%.
Yeah. So just to summarize of what we have covered today in this quick session today. So meet your out of town clients, anyone who are not able to come into the showroom or it's not convenient for them, move them into the MotoCommerce platform and get them to progress further down the funnel. Spend a little bit more time online by or bringing in the information, but then you're almost done with a full conversion. Like that customer is like ready to buy and it's a red hot deal, and collect the deposit and then close, basically.
That's just it. A little bit more time online, but it truly translates to less time in store. That's not better just for the customer, but it's better for the dealership. It allows us to free ourselves up to take the next customer and the next customer. Creates a little bit of an efficiency there as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And then we're going to be here same time, same place next week. So 12 o'clock Eastern, 9 a.m. out West on Wednesday, August 26th. And our topic next week is going to be how we can guide the consumers through the omnichannel process. So basically, once the account is created for the client, you will have some who self-serve because they love doing that, but there's other ones who are going to need some guidance. And what we're going to be talking about is that how you can guide them online, or if they do want to come into the showroom, how you can take that conversation on further into the showroom, again, just to support that seamless and flawless conversion and those car transactions. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Matt, thank you for participating as well.
Thanks
And
so
then
much,
we'll see you again next week. If you wanted to, you'll be able to access this recording as well. We'll be sending out an email with the recording, a quick summary of what we have learned today, and then we'll be seeing you next week.
Wonderful. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.